I'm inside a goon cave with a gooner.
Why would I go looking for a girlfriend when I can just go into my room and masturbate?
Imagine watching the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy every Sunday, but it's on 11 screens and it's porn. That is gooning. In this episode of Human, I'm bravely going where no one has gone before.
It's one small step for man,
Deep inside a porn addict's goon cave.
one giant leap for mankind.
I'm meeting Declan, a gooner,
Other people smoke, other people drink, I watch porn.
and he's given me unfiltered access into his world.
Are you a virgin?
Yes.
Do you think that's because of gooning?
And his full-blown masturbation station.
So this is my cave.
I want to understand what it means to be a gooner.
There's two 27-inch monitors, 50-inch TV, and then...
Oh my God, yeah, it's a lot of tablets, isn't
Yeah.
it? Wow.
And find out whether we can understand porn addiction by stepping into the goon cave.
This is weird, right?
Yeah, this is weird.
Welcome to Zand.land. This is Human. So, what the hell is gooning? Google searches for the term have increased 4,900% in the last 5 years, meaning some of you will have heard of it, and statistically speaking, some of you will actually be gooners. And probably most of you will be sat there right now thinking, what the frick is gooning? But luckily, to help explain, an anonymous gooner sent in this, a porn-filled PowerPoint that has some very useful and slightly uncomfortable information in it. So, I now feel educated enough to tell you that gooning is basically porn maxing, watching as much porn as you possibly can. That means multi-monitor, multi-hour masturbation in, at its extremes, a room which is completely turned into a pornographic paradise, otherwise known as the goon cave. Now, each to their own. I'm not here to judge or kink shame, knock yourself out or goon yourself out, but there's something about gooning that made me want to dig a little bit deeper. So I'm not exactly sure that I can fully fact check the numbers on this one, but I want to try and find out whether this is just a new kink or the rise of something some would see as problematic, a trend of people being fully addicted to porn. And to do that, I'm going to the city of angels, Los Angeles, to meet a gooner.
So the guy I'm meeting is a guy that we're calling Declan because he's a gooner. What I know so far is that he watches a lot of pornography. I've never watched pornography. I don't even know what it is. I hear it's something that you can get on the internet and, you know, it features naked people and stuff, but as a pure man, I'm joking.
Declan had agreed to meet us as long as we didn't show his face. He was understandably a little bit conscious about telling everyone on the internet about his gooning habits. So we gave him a mask, which to my jet-lagged brain, well, was pretty hilarious.
Why am I laughing so much?
This is a real meeting, Ben.
This is the first time we met.
it's organic.
Really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Is this what you look like on the radio?
All the time, yeah.
Okay, calm down. So tell me a little bit about...
I mean, yeah, this is kind of, I mean, it's weird for me too, so don't worry. I'm having a great time.
How would you describe a gooner?
I would say someone who maximizes their porn intake and then for as long as possible.
So like kind of the purpose is you're literally trying to get as much porn in your life
Exactly.
as you can. So are you watching it because you enjoy the storylines of porn?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, okay. I mean, obviously, like you currently
Oh, yeah,
look,
no.
you currently look wild.
Oh, yeah, no.
But behind the mask, you're like a very normal guy. Like, are all gooners like you?
You'd walk by them on the street, you wouldn't really know.
And why talk to me today?
People have misconceptions about it, and if I can help, then yeah, why not clear the air?
What are the misconceptions of gooning?
That's like their whole life. That's all they focus on. I normally just spend one day gooning, and then the rest of my week is just mainly focusing on other stuff. On a normal basis, like 6 to 7 hours, probably like 12 at the max. I'm not Superman.
So for 12 hours,
Yeah, I think that would be
you're
the max, yeah.
watching pornography.
I've noticed that there's a point maybe to where I'm just mentally exhausted, so I'll take a 30 to an hour break. I'll go do something completely different. I make sure to stay hydrated.
That's important.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you think you do this?
Good de-stressor. It's a good disguise as a distressor.
It's a bit of escapism, maybe.
Yeah, in a sense.
Declan had agreed to take me inside his goon cave. But first, I had to ask him about the rest of his home.
It's a very kind of minimalistic design. Is this a conscious decision?
I don't really spend a lot of time in this area, so why decorate it?
Is most time spent in the goon cave?
Yes, and then other aspects of like when I need to eat, obviously in the kitchen.
This living area is not a priority.
Not really, no.
Do you have people round much?
Majority time, no. There are some people that might stop by, but besides that, usually just myself.
And do you have like a partner, girlfriend, boyfriend?
Nope.
How would you describe your kind of sexuality?
If a regular person were to ask me straight within the goon scene, pornosexual, but there's a reason behind that, it's more of just to cater who talks to me rather than my actual identity.
What is a pornosexual?
Someone who prefers porn over sex is like the official term.
Do you spend like quite a lot of time thinking about porn?
Maybe for other people it's constant to where they always think about it, but for me it usually just spiraled with one thought and then that kind of leads down to a rabbit hole in itself.
How do you feel in those moments?
Like annoyed and tense because it's like, do you want to do something that you can't really do?
Do you mean masturbate?
Yeah.
Okay. And this could happen like even at work or something?
Yeah, like if there's downtime, let's say you're scrolling Instagram, see that, oh, that person looks hot. And then your mind kind of wanders, and then from there on, you are at work and now you're kind of in the mode of like, oh, okay, I wish I could masturbate.
Are you a virgin?
Yes.
Do you think that's because of gooning or kind of gooning as a consequence?
I'd say a mix of both. So again, I'm not really good with talking with women, so I kind of just stuck to myself. During the pandemic, I found gooning, and then from there it was kind of like, not I don't need women, but now it's more selective.
Do you ever tell anybody that you're a gooner?
If I did, I don't know what the reaction would be. Probably negative, but more so questioning why I would do that and why I would spend my time and money doing that.
How would you answer that question?
I'm addicted to it, so it's just more of reflecting on me that I have an addiction, and that's my way to kind of, not cure it, but I'm lost for words right now, but...
Is that how you see it? So you have like a kind of extreme...
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you have a goon cave, you are addicted to porn.
Now I knew a bit more about how Declan viewed himself. It was officially time.
Could we see the goon cave?
Sure.
After you. Does it look like a cave?
No, it just looks like a room with clutter on the wall. There are towels on the chair, so I don't damage the chairs. I'm just letting you know.
And when you say damage, you mean with...
No, I mean like if you had something on your pants.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is my cave. There's two 27-inch monitors, 50-inch TV, bikinis, lingerie, panties on the wall.
And then also...
a chair, and then...
Oh my God, yeah, it's a lot of tablets.
Yeah.
Wow. Could I take a moment to sit in there? And so you wear, this is for...
No, this is just, yeah, it's just more for...
This is the Semen Protector 7000?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's just more for, in a sense, your case, so...
And are you like just kind of, so you're watching, wow, just really, and then you're kind of like a little bit of scratching the monkey. And then what, you're kind of like waiting to climax for 12 hours? Or there's like kind of...
It's more of a balance, so
It's a marathon, not a sprint type of vibe.
Yes, if there was a graph, your climax right here, point of no return, you're just trying to get as close as possible and balance that.
How do you feel in those moments? Is it like chasing a high?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm able to recreate that feeling, but obviously over time, you know, maybe one screen was enough, and then now I had to do two. Now I have the option for three.
And there's two projectors?
Yeah, two projectors. I'll put that one on the ground, pointed towards the ceiling, so I'm able to see that.
So it's like full on near 360.
Exactly. Well, I try to, no matter where you look, you're watching some type of stimulant.
Explain a little bit about these walls. So these are panties and bikinis.
Yes.
Are they used?
No.
Or?
So all these are just going to be eBay. These right here, they were used, but it's more of bought and then they were washed.
And are you looking at them?
Keeps me encapsulated into watching porn.
What's it like showing me this?
Very vulnerable. I feel very vulnerable. I don't feel judged, thank you. But it's just something that I think only two people have seen before. I've had a person over, and...
Man or woman?
Man.
So what, there's times where you'll have a kind of duo...
yeah.
So you were both naked together?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And like, they were fully erect, you were fully erect. Was that kind of sexually arousing? Does that mean your sexuality is a bit more fluid?
That's where it gets complicated. I think the best way to put it probably would be heteroflexible, to where I am physically and emotionally attracted to women, but for a guy, maybe if they have, I'll be honest, if they have a nice penis, then I like it.
What is a nice penis?
For me, maybe it's just like the size, length, thickness. Some people like cut versus uncut, curve. I guess my specific type would be like longish, thick, curved upwards, cut, and then like I guess a good set of balls. It's kind of interesting.
What makes good balls?
I mean, they're not saggy, they're not tiny. I don't want a dude that looks like he's on steroids.
And are you looking at the penis during the porn more than the vagina? Or
It's a mix of both.
how do you stop it from going, like it pushing you to the kind of darkest recesses of porn? Because it must get harder to get that buzz every time because, you know, you obviously become so accustomed to porn.
I think more of just having like moral limits, or I try not to ever get to a point to where I regret watching what I did. I don't watch anything illegal. I don't watch any blood, gore, scat, anything like that. I prefer looking at a woman and knowing, oh, they're overage, like well overage, versus did they just start? Are they out of high school? Like that really bugs me.
When was the last time you had like people in your goon cave?
Maybe like 2 months ago.
And that was like that guy that you did it like once?
Twice.
Twice.
But twice as in this space, but before I was part of a masturbation group. So we would go to someone's apartment or they rented out a hotel, and then I kind of got to experience like what mutual masturbation was there.
So everyone would sit with each other and masturbate. Would you like masturbate each other?
Yes.
At the same
Hands-on,
time?
yeah. So it was very hands-on, but it was whatever you were comfortable with. So.
Hands-on is an interesting turn of phrase. So you're kind of like this?
We're more next to each other.
And you're sitting in like a circle?
Honestly, just think of like a really big living room, and kind of wherever people sit, that's where the action goes.
And you're watching?
No, surprisingly, no.
There's no watching?
No.
Are you looking at each other?
Yeah.
In the eyes?
Some people do. It's whatever you're comfortable with. There's people that'll be kind of in the circle doing their thing, and then maybe a new person came, so they're not really sure what to do. So then they end up just kind of staying on the outskirts.
What's this thing?
That is lube.
Can I open it?
Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, sure. So it's just...
Wow, you've gone through, so that's, let me see.
Yeah.
That's a decent amount of lube, isn't it? Do you think we could kind of like oil up the goon cave and see what it's like in full action?
Sure, yeah.
Hey guys, so thank you very much for watching this latest episode. I'm currently watching the edit as we speak. I just wanted to take a moment to say, you know, if you're enjoying this and you're enjoying learning about gooners, please like and subscribe because it helps us at zand.land. We're trying to build a community here, so please hit that subscribe button. Now, time to enter the goon cave.
Well, I have that. That one I have, give me a second, I might.
All right, I'm going to sit here to kind of get the full...
Yeah, sure. I misplaced the USB for that one. So I need to find a backup for that.
Whoa. I mean, this is... I feel like I'm in Times Square, but instead everyone's naked and there's boobs everywhere. Walk me through the motions. So we're sitting here, we've fully set up the goonathon. I'm completely nude. I've got an erect penis.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right, it's time to goon.
So I'll have non-nude stuff playing on any of the tablets, and then on the projectors, it'll be strip teasing or stripping. On the TV and the 2 monitors, that'll be hardcore porn.
And what are you mostly looking at?
Mainly the main screen. From there, it kind of just goes on to where my eyes wander. Just gives me a surrounding sense.
I can't even listen to what you're saying because there's just so much porn.
It is very overwhelming, like a trance-like sense once you reach that point.
It's a unique experience.
Extremely unique.
I have never done this before.
Which is good.
And you do this for 12 hours?
At the max, yes.
That is crazy.
I agree. I think maybe I figured that this is my way of de-stressing from the world. I think this is more of just a fetish, so once I get an experience of the real world, I hope that this is something that it's not an itch that I need to scratch. It's easier to find stimulation, especially like sexual stimulation. Why would I go looking for a girlfriend when I can just go into my room and masturbate?
Do you think it's distorted how you view women at all?
I try not to look at women as like objects. I know that with everyone, there's a surface level version of them, and then there's also a deeper version of them. I might fantasize them about them differently now, like, oh, they're hot. I wonder what they would look like, you know, naked more.
Yeah, I guess it's hard for it not to slightly change how your perspective of women, you know, I suppose because you're not necessarily interacting with women in life normally, and this is the interpretation of it, of obviously a hypersexualized sense.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a fantasy. That's all it is at the end of the day.
Like, do you think if you had the relationship with a woman, it would pull you out of this?
I think there would be a big incentive to be pulled out of it. But then again, this is the cause of my own actions. If I didn't want to quit at the end of the day, it's more of my decision.
I mean, I'm actually nervous when the audio comes in, just because I feel like you can't currently take it up any further, but... Oh, yes. Some of the noises.
So I have this bit of audio and then this window playing right now. But as far as the left
So
one,
they're all playing?
they're all playing, yeah.
And is this the volume you'd usually go for?
Yeah, I don't want to, bother the neighbors.
It's really disorientating. Do you think you could ever get to a point where you're watching porn in a less extreme way?
Like my personal rule.
No, it's just... Do you feel like I'm judging you?
No, but it does give me a reflection because this is kind of just reinforcing the fact that this isn't normal. It is kind of actually reinforcing, like, it would be probably a good idea to stop doing this.
Would you recommend this to people?
Absolutely not. Would you recommend telling someone to try heroin?
Probably not.
So that's how I relate it.
What's clear is that it feels like it's something that's really hard to escape.
Yeah, no, it is. For me to say that I don't spend a lot of time watching porn would be very ignorant.
It would be hard to make that case while sitting here. Yeah, there's a few moments that I don't know what to say, but in this moment, I actually don't know what to say.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Neither do I.
I was amazed at how watching porn could become such a cornerstone of someone's life. But it's not just Declan. One Gooning forum was kind enough to give us access to their analytics on Discord, so I can, with full journalistic rigor, tell you that they're growing at 16 gooners per hour, otherwise known as GPH. And they're accelerating. It might sound slow, but this is big. And Declan wanted to show me.
So there's 109,000 members and then...
Well, I mean, 109,000 people is a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is like not a niche goon cave.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
So
yeah.
this is people kind of
Yes,
showing.
so that's mine.
That is yours?
Yeah, so that's mine.
So you put yours out on there to show people.
Yeah.
What made you kind of share your goon?
Because different people have different caves, so it's kind of like a creative space. You're able to show, I've had my imagination kind of run wild.
Wow. That is a setup and a half, isn't it? That is quite a goon cave. Do you feel kind of like, is that inspirational?
Maybe my creativity was limited on what I can do, and I see someone else, they took a different route.
He's got the same lube as you. Does everyone have the same lube?
No, so that's actually not like a lubricant. It's a makeup remover, but people found that the consistency works really well for lube.
The kind of artistic craft of it is surprising. People are really thinking this through, aren't they? They're creating their little kind of cave of pleasure.
Exactly, yeah.
This guy says, currently gooning, please forgive my filthy goon station set up in my kitchen.
Yep.
But filthiness is what makes a goon cave what it is.
That person did in their bathroom.
Bathroom makes sense.
VR rigs, so using
Whoa.
VR, they'll have porn playing in the background, but then also have a virtual setup too.
Wow, that is like interactive VR goon.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I wanted to get to know Declan a bit better, hang out, shoot the shit. So I suggested a plan that I thought he might be open to.
Yeah, I'm about to meet up again with Declan. As you can see, we're in the mall. We are gonna look at a new setup for his goon cave, but I also want to get a little sense from him about what it's like being in the real wider world, because he doesn't go out that much. How often do you come to the mall?
Rarely ever, actually.
Pretty much never.
No. The last time I was here was probably like 15 years ago, actually.
15 years ago.
Yeah. Everything's just been like online.
How often do you go out just like in a public setting like this?
Not too often. I mean, I don't usually have time.
So you just don't hang out with people? But
Not really. The times that I do hang out with people, they'll ask me, oh, do you want to hang out? But since my sleep schedule's so awful, asking them to hang out at like 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., they want to hang out at like 10 o'clock. I can't really do that. I don't really go out often. I'd rather just stay home.
Do you think you'll ever find love like this? These two holding hands?
Maybe. Hopefully.
Do you believe that you could?
Yeah. I think anyone can. They just need to find the right person.
What needs to change for that to happen?
Probably me be more outgoing, put myself out there more versus just kind of like being a little hermit crab. So
This is like the ultimate goon device, isn't it?
Well, the thing is with...
Let's go look at this bad boy.
Think it
Would
would
you
be-
like that as the setup?
I don't know, maybe.
It's a way to level up, isn't it?
It's a way to level up, but it's also one of those like, do I need it?
Yeah,
But then again, do I need any of this? Probably not.
that would be the ultimate goon.
Oh, yeah.
If I was going to get involved, I'd get that. What would the dream setup be?
Probably larger monitors, You can always go bigger and better for everything.
Like, is that part of what happens, that you kind of just get bored with the current setup? And you wanna...
If Reddit and Twitter didn't exist, I would probably be content with my setup. It's something you see someone else has, and then your imagination goes, oh, I wonder if I could fit this in here, and oh, I wonder if I can do this differently. Oh, I wonder if I could do that differently.
After staring at potential upgrades for Declan's cave, I wanted to ask him a bit more about his life outside of all this.
How many friends do you have?
Say a handful, maybe like 10 plus.
Are they real life friends?
Yeah.
And what do you do with your friends?
Usually it'll be like a group activity, so maybe like golf, maybe an arcade.
Are they men or women?
Mix of both.
I feel like you give me mixed messages though, because you mentioned that you don't really talk to women that much.
I don't talk to women that much, but surprisingly, the closest friends I've had have been women. Oh, I had one friend who I was really close with, and then we ended up not being friends anymore, but it was just kind of life happened. They were kind of like worried more about like their job and their life, so we didn't kind of like dissolve to where we stopped talking as much. And I got busy with work, she got busy with work and her life, so it's kind of like, okay.
What I'm trying to get to is just like going to your house, it feels like quite a solitary life.
Yeah.
Like you don't spend that much time with
Oh, no,
people.
yeah. But what I normally do in my personal life is just take care of the necessities that I need to do, and then when I have my free time, then obviously spend it doing what we've done, or we've talked about.
So what's it like being in a place where everyone's hanging out with each other? Like, do you want more social life? Is that what you're looking for, or do you want to go deeper into gooning?
I think both can kind of go hand in hand. I wouldn't mind a bigger social life, but because I haven't had a social life, I'm kind of used to it.
And if you could have like a kind of dream scenario, would it be to stop gooning and to like, have a real relationship? Or
it would be nice to kind of experience something else in life, kind of close this chapter and go on to something else.
I was thinking when we meet up again, maybe we found like a sex psychologist lady who's happy to meet. Would you be open to talking to her?
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd want to talk about in particular? Or?
I think I'd be pretty open to just kind of seeing where the discussion goes. There isn't anything that's pressing on my mind, but it would be interesting to talk to kind of a professional about this and see what they think.
At this point, it felt important to know, where did gooning even come from? Despite the fact that a fair shows up as early as 2005 on the Urban Dictionary, gooning didn't really gain popularity until the pandemic, and then it really took off in 2023. Google Trends shows it's now growing exponentially. As the world of gooning has exploded online, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's a new wave in the world of incels, all part of the same misogynistic radicalization ecosystem. But actually, gooners are a pretty diverse community. We saw the demographics of Declan's gooning Discord, and it had straight men, women, queer people, all part of the same server. What is certain though, is that gooning is growing, especially amongst young people, with basically 50% of the server's users saying they're between 18 and 25. Declan has repeatedly said to me that this is something he wanted to stop doing. So I wanted to know whether there was a realistic way out for him. And actually, is this even a bad thing in the first place?
So Declan is pretty convinced that he's got a kind of addiction to porn that is extremely difficult to escape from. Looking at his life, that seems hard to deny. But I'm about to meet a scientist who doesn't necessarily think this is an addiction. She thinks what the problem is here is the shame that we associate with porn. So I want to understand from her perspective what she thinks someone like Declan can do to get out of this. And Declan's going to actually come and join the conversation and talk to somebody for the first time about this problem that he has. Hello. How you doing, Nikki?
Hey, good.
I'm Ben. But yeah, thank you for making the time to talk to us. Do you know much about gooning?
A fair amount.
Because I suppose the guy we've been talking to, who we're calling Declan, you know, he's a virgin. He doesn't spend a huge amount of time socializing. He's on a Sunday, he spends up to 12 hours masturbating. Mm-hmm. What do you know about gooning?
I study some groups that are anti-masturbation, so they talk a lot on those things about gooning and how to stop and what it's doing to your brain, supposedly. It feels just like a new term for an old thing. I mean, people have always been masturbating.
I guess there's kind of like masturbation and then gooning, which is like pretty hardcore version of that. Do you see anything wrong with gooning inherently?
I would say if you got the time, it's really a matter of like, what is it interfering with that's valuable to you? Mm-hmm. So if you're, setting aside childcare, you're not participating as a parent, if you meant to work out, if you don't go to school, you can't perform at work, then yeah, it becomes a problem like marathon training too much. But I don't know if it's a special problem aside from other behaviors you could do too much.
What's the difference between being addicted to something like heroin and being addicted to porn?
So there's lots of studies of drugs of abuse that have, scientists love to debate everything, of course, but we have some kind of agreed upon standards. So there are things like we expect to see this biomarker of most addictions, which is something called Q reactivity. So when an addict's brain sees their drug of abuse, their activity of abuse, they respond to it more. 300 milliseconds after you see an image of the thing you engage with, your brain responds differently than non-addicts. We found that that's not the case with pornography, for example.
If you asked him, he'd say, I'm addicted to porn.
Yep.
So, it feels like something that is uncontrollable.
So strong. Yeah, you can definitely do a lot of things too much, and they're not addictions. People say if it involves dopamine, it can be addictive, and that is just not true. Walking is one of the primary functions of dopamine. It sounds like from what you described that it's already to the point where he's worried about it. And so I say, well, where does the worry come from? Like, why does he think it's bad?
If I kind of surveyed the majority of my friends and myself, I don't think many people feel great after watching porn, regardless of what your kind of perspective of porn is.
Assuming you have an orgasm from masturbation, which is most masturbation ends in that for men. The orgasm itself is a reflex. So it provokes, comparable amounts of oxytocin, vasopressin, whether a partner is there or not. So, I think a lot of it's perceptual. That is, some of this is just reflexive. It's what the body does. It does it really well. Having someone there that says, I desire you, like you in particular, that's very different than pornography.
I guess also just love.
Love is so messy.
It is messy, but it's real. I mean, we have 4 men in the room. Like, would you feel good or bad after watching porn?
The sex feels way better than the porn because, like, I feel like you're appreciated, if you feel appreciated, which hopefully you do. But yeah.
Is it different than viewing pornography versus just masturbating? Like, would you feel just as kind of shitty if you just rubbed one out by yourself?
No, for me personally, it's the pornography. I feel like I've demeaned the woman in some way, or it feels kind of just like a lapse of judgment, that I've made a mistake, that I should not have done this. It's not necessarily that heavy consistently.
Yeah, it sounds heavy.
It's more just like, you don't know the backstory of a porn set, so it does feel like you've taken something from somebody without their consent. That's what's the kind of unusual feeling, I suppose. All right, final question. So he'll arrive in about, 3 minutes. What do you think the best kind of approach is? You just have a conversation with them and just...
Yeah, I mean, I think this is obviously distinct from doing a proper clinical assessment, but I'd be most curious about kind of where he got his information about sex, and then also what function the gooning has in his life.
I am actually genuinely intrigued around, maybe it's not actually as big of a problem as he thinks it is, and it's not necessarily the gooning that's the issue here. There's another kind of underlying problem that exists.
So I think there's a very good chance if you think you're having porn problems, there's a high likelihood you actually have depression. For people who feel depressed, there are lots of studies on coping, and the general 2 kind of strategies are distraction versus kind of remaking the meaning. The distraction is effective, but it doesn't last long term.
Yeah. Hey, Declan, nice to see you again.
Nice to meet you. Declan.
Nikki?
Obviously, we've slightly manufactured this. But yeah, it's just an opportunity to talk, really. And if you feel uncomfortable about anything, obviously just say.
This is weird, right?
Yeah, this is weird.
I assume you kind of got into this at some point. You didn't just wake up with your setup. Where did you learn about sex in the first place?
Sex ed was in high school, freshman year. And before that, I never really had a talk with anyone about it. I do remember like the first time I looked up porn online, but I don't remember the age. I'd say just to be safe, like 10, but probably younger. I think the biggest thing that got me into gooning was the pandemic, doing school from home. That 100% like kicked my addiction into overdrive. It's like, okay, I'm not getting that physical connection to where I like looked for that connection, and then I found a group, and then from there on it just spiraled out. So, yeah, my life isn't, besides the porn, it's not bad. I try to prioritize working so that I get distracted by working, so I'm not thinking about like watching a lot of porn. Well, it kind of does affect my social life, but I've never really had a social life, so it's like ruining something that wasn't really there. I'm not the go to parties type of person. I get really big social anxiety. I do try to stay in contact with friends. It's just hard for them to get a hold of me sometimes. To the point to where now they don't invite me, but it's not we don't want to invite him. It's just, we kind of expect him to say no.
Yeah, they got used to you turning
Yeah,
it down.
which isn't, I mean, I don't blame them or anything.
So, like, are they aware of some
No.
of the things you enjoy with that?
Not at all.
Not like, oh, he likes computers, but we don't know.
No, so a lot of us are into computers. I hope they're not into the same stuff I'm into just because I feel like it's a hindrance.
What other things do you have going on right now that may not be going as well?
I would say the romantic side. So I don't have a partner. I've never really had like any luck in that.
Was there dating in high school?
Not really dating in high school. I had one girlfriend, but I don't really count it as a significant relationship because I feel that in high school I was too young to really understand what was going on. So I don't count it as a relationship, but more of like a, I don't know, it sounds rude, but like a learning experience. And then throughout college, I did have a relationship online for like a couple years.
Couple of years? That's kind of major.
Yeah, no, it's major, but it was, and I never met them, but like there were phone calls and video calls, so I at least knew they were real, and that fizzled out like very badly. It was like I can't be there, so I found someone else.
So a lot of folks, when they're in that kind of spot, are on the apps. Have you experimented with that?
Yeah, I haven't had any succession with that. I think I had maybe 2 matches out of like 8 years of being on there.
What would happen if you walked into a bar and tried to pick up a girl?
And so I don't drink. There's no reason for me to be in a bar, and it just doesn't feel comfortable, I guess because of the lifestyle that I was living. And then I also don't find it comfortable to talk to strangers generally. There was someone that I saw like around my work, and I was like, oh, they're really cute. Like, it would be nice to just say something. And like
Did you make it weird?
No, I just said, I was like, hi, excuse me, and then they like looked and I just froze up and I was like, I like your outfit, and then they're like, thanks, and I was just walked away. I was like, yeah, that's probably how it's gonna go.
So you did the thing though. You
yeah, but that
said
was
hi.
yeah, but that was like the bare, not even the bare minimum, but it was one of those like a second felt like a minute, and I'm like, okay, you just need to say something. They didn't really look interested, but it was more of a, they probably were just working, and then they were wondering why this stranger just said like, excuse me.
What would that look like longer term if you had someone? What would happen with the gooning, the porn viewing, and all that, you think?
I think the gooning would, or I would hope that the gooning would slow down a lot, maybe like just not exist, because I would have someone that I care about, and I know that this would probably hurt them.
Why would it hurt them?
Because I've noticed that people think porn is cheating. I try to limit myself to watching porn maybe 3 times a week, not to where I will actively look for it, but more of when I get aroused, then it's okay, maybe I'll watch porn tonight. If I masturbate on a Sunday to like Monday morning, usually I try to tell myself like that counts as Monday, so try not to do it the same day. Then it would maybe be on like a Wednesday and then like a Friday. I think I try to like limit myself, give myself a break, and then Sunday I'll kind of just go all out, and then just the cycle repeats. I know that I can kind of spiral out.
What is spiraling out?
Like prioritizing masturbating versus work. Let's say I did goon during the week. I might say like, oh yeah, I can get off on like 6 hours of sleep, and then it's, oh, this feels good. Okay, maybe 5 hours of sleep. Okay, maybe 4. Okay, all night. It does affect like how I view people. Obviously porn is fake and it presents a fantasy, but if I see like an attractive person, maybe before I would have been like, oh, they're like really attractive, oh, they're nice, but now it's like, I'll look at more of their physical features and be like, oh, okay, I wonder what that would look like, more in a sense.
For you, does it feel like an element of kind of shame, kind of self-judgment that's kind of causing the distress?
That I don't know. Because I feel like it is at that point in a sense. Not that it takes over my life, but I do spend like a majority of the time doing it. Like if you told someone, oh, I spend 8 hours a day like watching movies, that's weird, but it's like 5 movies. Oh, I don't know how you can mentally do that. Or I spend 8 hours a day playing video games. That's understandable. Might be a problem, but you know, that's understandable. You tell someone, oh, I spend 8 hours a day watching porn, that's like, that's probably not the best thing to do. But people who watch excessive amounts of porn, they think that they're not like everyday people. Maybe they think, you know, they view women as objects, they think porn is reality, things like that, and a lot of the negative connotations. I'm just worried that like, okay, this evolution, if I went from watching porn, like clips, and now I'm at this level, kind of what's the next step? Is this like the final stage, or am I gonna find something else that'll scratch like a new itch that I've never found? And I'm worried about that in a sense. I think people can spend their time better. If they wanted to do something like, say, join the military, that's a life-changing experience, but with a lot of cons. But, you know, you served your country, you know, people might respect you, people might also hate you for it, but it's something that within the community that people will look towards you and say, oh, he sacrificed this amount of years for a bigger cause. Like, I don't see that with porn.
It's interesting, you just said, like, there's no benefit to porn.
I don't see a benefit for me.
So why do it?
I think it's just I think because I've been doing it for so long and I can't quit.
Does it still feel good?
Yeah. No, I mean,
That
yeah.
seems like a benefit.
But I don't know if it's, but I don't know. No, it feels good, but I don't know if it's one of those to where, I don't know if pleasure driven is always the best option though.
Does it feel to you like an addiction, like something you can't escape from? Or is it
Yeah.
you're making it?
So in the beginning, I told myself like, take a month off of gooning, try to minimize the amount of porn you watch. I think I made it like a week and a half and I was like, okay, yeah, this is honestly an addiction. And the weird thing is within the gooning space, one of the most unhealthy traits is like, they'll kind of like say relapsing is like a normal thing, but then they'll also encourage it in a sense like, oh, you're just gonna relapse. Someone will be on Twitter, oh, hey, I'm gonna quit this isn't healthy. And then people will just be like, oh, okay, I'll see you in like a month.
I mean, it strikes me that for someone who has social anxiety and feels uncomfortable in certain situations, you've come into a room, talked very openly about your kind of, interest in porn to someone you haven't met, to a film crew that you haven't met. How have you managed to do that?
I don't honestly know. Like, it's a rare opportunity. I feel it's okay to talk about it, and it's in a non-judgmental setting. So I just kind of feel like, okay, there's no real point to beat around the bush. And then I'm also thinking that maybe there's someone else like me. Maybe they're doing worse off than me to where they think like, oh, porn is really bad, and like I hate myself for doing it, and they're just really in a dark place. Maybe me saying like, okay, I'm in a similar position as you, but I'm finding different ways to make it more of a hobby rather than take over my life, and I love my life. Maybe that gives them hope to say like, oh, okay, it could be worse, or oh, there's ways to get better from this, or I can kind of manage this better than what I'm doing now.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being open and chatting with me.
Yeah, what was that? That was an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
How are you feeling after it?
Felt really relaxing and like opening. She kind of opened me up to thinking like, okay, maybe that's not such a bad thing to do. I don't know if I'll fully take that advice because then again, I don't want to spiral, but I keep harping on I could be doing something different or better. I don't feel like I'm a bad person in a sense. Well, I'm a bad person for other things, but I think everyone has those types of secrets.
Why do you feel like you're a bad person for other things?
Oh no, it's just the decisions I've made in life. There's just certain things that I know that I look back on and I'm like, I could have done that a lot better, or I shouldn't have done that, so.
That's such a heavy, everyone's like that out there. It does feel like having spent a bit of time with you now that you hold yourself to a really high standard that's hard to kind of keep up with, and I guess you beat yourself with a stick a lot, kind of punish yourself quite a bit.
In a sense, yeah. I try to like balance the scales. So because I seek pleasure in an excessive amount, that I need to not seek pleasure in other things, or maybe focus on things that don't feel good but will give me a benefit later on in life.
What happens now? It's a Sunday. Usually you'd be gooning in about 4 hours, 5 hours. Are you gonna do it?
Probably, yeah.
And how are you gonna feel about it?
Probably the same as usual, to where, I'll still have mixed emotions. Do I cry after it? No. Do I feel mixed emotions after it? Yeah, it's just gonna be a typical Sunday, most likely.
Gooning had clearly consumed so much of Declan's life, but as the psychologist said, aspects of it also did seem to bring him enjoyment. Ultimately, as with anything in life, if it's stopping you doing the things you want, like making friends or finding meaningful relationships, then it feels like maybe gooning for 12 hours straight is something that you should think about, even if some say it isn't technically an addiction. Declan opened up his world to us, but what's wild is that everything I've heard suggests that this lifestyle isn't uncommon, and the community is exponentially growing. So who knows? A goon cave could be coming to a town near you very soon. So thank you very much for watching that episode. That was a crazy one. Thank you for Declan for taking part in it. The people at the heart of these stories are the only reason we get to tell them in the first place, so thank you. If you want to be part of the zand.land journey, consider subscribing to our Patreon. That's a place that we talk about our docs in a bit more detail. We include aspects that we couldn't include in the documentary. We talk about what it's like to make these things, and we've got a load of fascinating documentaries coming up. If you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see us cover, comment in the video, become part of the journey, become a Zandlander. Thank you very much.